All right, everybody, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case. Over on Rumble, of course, unpause, and of course, repause. So we don't have to watch our ugly mug in triplicate because nobody wants that. I don't really want to be infected with bulimia now, do I? Just saying. We're going to be talking about some decent news today. Actually, between, we had Fani Willis earlier. That is probably the most insane thing that I've ever actually seen. A prosecutor, so this is someone with a legal mind, keep this in mind, is telling the Senate that a person worked 160-hour work weeks. that makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah, he slept like 3 hours a day or something like that. And that never happened. It's bullshit. She probably fucked up and meant to say 60-hour weeks. Plausible. I work a 60-hour week. 160 hours? Dude, there's nobody in the world that's capable of doing that unless they're on fucking methamphetamine and multiple other substances at the same time. So we're not even going to bother getting into that because that's so ridiculous that it's almost not newsworthy. The only reason it's newsworthy is that Fani Willis had to pay $1 million to get somebody to screw her. Wow. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense, dude. You're the only female in the world who had to pay a dude 7 figures in order to put his dick inside of you. So we'll just let that story go. We will talk about RFK Jr. again, though. I did cover it this morning, which was fun, and I happened to support him on this one. But we'll be talking about that a little bit separately. We've also got the Democrats being out of touch. That much is pretty much certain. At this point, the Democrats are their own worst enemy. It's like the GOP right now is punching itself in the face. The Democrats are competing to see who can punch each other in the face more often. And so they've decided to join in that strange game of self-deprecation. I could not believe it, actually, when I've seen some of the things that they were doing recently. I didn't even believe it. I'm like, the Democrats are supposed to be evil, granted. But they're not also supposed to be retarded. Normally, that's the GOP's provenance. Now, most of the GOP is retarded, other than, the MAGA fringe, and the Democrats, meanwhile, have melted down more than thermite. So, yeah, there's dripping out everywhere. I don't even know what they're doing at this point. Honestly, as a political analyst, I can't even tell you, honestly. The NDAA, Anticensorship provision, protects free speech. Yes, we finally got a National Defense Authorization Act that prevents censorship. Yeah, it's been a while since we've had that. So that's a win for Donald Trump. It's going to be a niche win. I mean, it's not going to really move the metric politically speaking, but it means a lot to those of us who do independent content creation and have to fend off the legacy media every single day. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says HHS won't fund sex-rejecting procedures for minors. It is malpractice. I happen to agree with him on this. Covered it this morning, but this is something that's important enough it needs to be covered again. And Trump tells America, I am fixing Biden's mess in chart-filled primetime address. Yes, some people thought that his address was going to be declaring war on Venezuela. That didn't happen, which I'm very, very happy about. Instead, he decided to show off charts and say, look, the economy is improving. It's just doing so slowly. And that's really what you see there. When you look at the minor reduction in costs over time, the minor reductions in inflation and stuff, you're moving in the right direction. You're doing your job. I give you kudos for that because, somebody has to do that. But it's going to take a little bit more time. And by a little bit more time, I mean several years, because Joe Biden did so much massive damage to the economy. It's going to take a little while to reabsorb that shit. Mike here, how was that song by the Proclaimers? I feel there was a 90% chance you hated it, hence my bar story. Clank, motherfuckers. Admittedly not my favorite. Yeah. Cult Priestess is here. Thank you very much for those instrumentals. I will be putting lyrics to them very soon, by the way. Yeah, I don't know how the hell you generated that stuff, but yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Bobby, Mike the Wat blocked me again because he is a sensitive little bitch. Aw, how sad, Bobby. Why do you troll this channel every single time I go live? Actually, I'm not 100% sure. Come to think of it. I am, by the way, making a legendary meal later. I am making my world-famous chili. Yes, by the way, beans do go in chili. You use chili beans, red kidney beans, black beans, cannellini beans, really navy beans, it doesn't really matter. As long as you simmer it right, and they absorb flavor, they all basically taste the same in the end anyway. Kidney beans are about the only one that you have to use. Preferably the dark red version. So, I'm going to be making chili later. Yes, indeed. I have a sous chef willing to prepare the goods so that I can go to work right after this live stream. It's been delicious. Lots of cayenne pepper. It's got to have chili powder. It's got to have chili flakes. I've got a nice fresh jalapeno too to simmer into there as well. Normally I would use Mama Jeanette peppers, the yellow ones. They're a little bit hotter. This gives you a bit more spice. But they're not available here, so I had to use a jalapeno. Yeah, it's okay. It'll be fine. Thomas Baldwin, 600 pounds of deer meat here. Damn, share, my dude. Moskvich, legendary meal would be followed by legendary farting. Yeah, chili is a gassy food. But I tend to digest everything, other than apparently snails, and a couple of other things, and watermelon. Other than that, I can pretty much eat anything under the sun. I make a delicious chili. I promise you, if you had my chili, you would like it. It's similar to the chili that's made by my father, except that he modifies it. He doesn't really use onion. He uses onion powder because my mom, she won't eat onions. And so he also keeps it a little bit less spicy. Well, I'm going to crank it up to the 3rd degree, my dude. There's going to be a lot of chili powder, a lot of cayenne pepper, some Tabasco sauce probably. In fact, believe that I still have the red Tabasco sauce. I know that I have the green one, but that's not really spicy, so it doesn't really matter. I can use any sauce. I got about 60 or 70 of them just on the spice rack, so it doesn't really make a difference now, does it? Austin Rapsticks, how much for you to promote products? I'll DM on X. Yes, please DM me on X, and we can talk about that. We can negotiate, as they say. Yeah, anyway. Oh, God. Bro Valley, echidna penis. Yes, if you want to see something really, really weird, look up echidna penis. I have seen that image before. A rhinoceros penis looks like a weird meat flower or something like that, so they're fucked up as well. I thought this was funny. Yes, Lindsay, Bovrite does go in a chili. I will be using that to create the broth. Mike here. Bobby's always seething and snitching. Someone give him a Kleenex. Yeah, he seems to be obsessed with the concept of me paying someone's rent in the long past. Well, yeah, sometimes you care about somebody and so you help him out, I don't think that makes you a bad or irrational person. Let's get to the news. Tough medicine for Democrats. Too liberal and out of touch. Yes, in new polling, the Democrats somehow have managed to become less popular than Trump by far. Which doesn't surprise me, necessarily, but it does surprise liberals. Trump's approval rating is actually several points higher than where either Obama or Biden were, and then certainly George W., at the same point in their term. So his approval is not high. It's still in the low 40s, but it's higher than theirs was at the same time in their term. So he's doing all right. Senate approval, I mean, you might as well not even bother talking about it. It's like 0%. House approval, I mean, it's got a pulse, I suppose. But that's a little bit like saying that a cancer patient is not quite dead. That's basically where you're going. As far as the Democratic Party, they've got more of a pulse. Okay, that's great. So instead of being in subcritical condition, you're only in serious condition. But that's where the Democrats stand today. The Republicans are basically in the same boat too. Trump is the only one that actually has enough of a measurable pulse at this point to be plausible. Like, a doctor wouldn't even waste their time trying to save these other patients. With Trump, it'd be like, okay, you probably survive. Alright, well then we'll get you into surgery. With the Senate, it's like, you're a lost cause. Bring him to the crematorium. With the House, it's like, maybe you'll survive. We can try, but I don't know how far we're going to get. With the Democrats, though, generally speaking, it's more like, all right, I don't even know if you're dead or alive at this point. You're basically like a zombie. It's like watching that scene in World of Heaven, or Kingdom of Heaven, rather, when they finally unmask King Baldwin and he's all fucked up because he's a leper. That's basically the Democratic Party right now. It makes no sense. I don't even know what their strategy is at this point. The thing is, you're not supposed to warn your enemy while they're making a mistake. But the Democrats are making so many of them that, I mean, it doesn't mean anything if you do warn them because they're not going to listen to you anyway. They usually don't even listen to their own fellow liberals. The left is trying to tell them what to do. The neolibs are trying to tell them what to do. Some of them have fled the battlefield. Your party leader is Chuck Schumer because Nancy Pelosi is leaving. And the Union Dems attempted for years and years to tell the Democratic Party, hey, you're being wrong. This doesn't make any sense. They completely ignored them. So the Democrats, which usually are the evil party, with the Republicans being the stupid party, managed to become the dumb and evil party at the same time. That's basically the lot they find themselves in. Wow. And I've never seen anything even closely approximating what I'm seeing in modern politics at this time. You know, the GOP is definitely, I mean, they're retarded. But the Democrats have managed to somehow formulate a system by which they took the stupidity of the normal, like the neocon GOP. So this doesn't involve MAGA, but the neocons, like the Mitch McConnells. They took that stupidity, the Mike Pence-ism, and they brewed it down with just a hint of evil. And they somehow became even more retarded than the average Republican. And now they're just punching themselves in the face over and over again. I never thought that I would saw the day when the Republican Party would be trying to reclassify marijuana and the Democrats would be standing against it. I don't think any of you predicted that either. Nobody could have predicted that. So I give myself a pass on that one because it was not foreseen. There's a reason for that. Cooking Inferno. Damn, Captain Slenderman. You've been rocking the casino this week. By the way, I send you 2 DMs for your chili, things I actually used, and 1 contests. Yum. Yeah, I love making chili. Moskvich, yeah, I mean, there's the point. The voice of reason within the Democratic Party at the moment is a dude who suffered a massive stroke, had brain damage to the point where he could barely read a sheet of paper. He's the sane one. Oh my fucking god. Oh. Bobby Bobbinson. I don't watch Kino Casino, actually. I don't pay any attention to them at all. I realize that they put out a bunch of my text messages and stuff like that. I realize that they're on there. There are people that want to lust after me being destroyed, I suppose, but I don't pay any attention to them. It's completely separate from my life. Inner City Pigeon. I will never do a live cooking show, and here's why. People are so much more fucking brutal about cooking videos than they are about politics and things like that. I mean, you can get found guilty of dog rape, and you'll face less repercussions than if you photograph the soup wrong. So, yeah, count me out on that one. It's Ken Rieza. Has the Trump presidency stopped any possibility of a third political party forming? No, I don't think so. I think that there will eventually be the uprising of something that's an alternative to the GOP or Dems. This will probably come on the heels of the Democratic Party melting down so bad that it stops existing at all. They are moving in that direction. In other words, you're going to have the boring old neocons with, some MAGA populists versus whatever the hell happens next. It's going to be insane politically. It'll probably be the biggest shakeup in political history in the United States since the rise of the Whig movement, and its subsequent dissolution, of course, into what became the Republican Party, which Razorfist so succinctly talked about in his Abe Lincoln video. He lays out the entire history. Styx was even scared on the Kumite with Mersh. JJ, where are you getting this from? I have absolutely no idea what's happening half the time. Some of the claims about me are so goddamn false that I don't even bother responding to them because there's nothing to respond to, actually. Cooking Inferno. If I'm ever the voice of reason, we are truly in a dire situation. Unknown. Yeah, that's how I would say it too. If I'm the one that's making sense, you probably should have your brain checked. Just saying. Yeah, I don't even know what people are claiming at this point, so I'm not even going to bother to address it because it's pointless. Anyway, we do have other news to get to, but first, we must get to our sponsors. We have cultivated-mind.com. You can get your mushroom pills. I still have a few, but they're scattered around the desk, so there are none in here at the moment. How sad. They will increase your vigor. They will increase your vitality. Also, they don't smell or taste foul, like a lot of supplements do, so, you should probably get some. You've also got Doggy Dose, which I affectionately call Doggo Dose, because it's funny to give the doggo some doggy treats, which will help their vitality and their vigor as well. If they are smaller dogs, I suggest that you break them into smaller chunks because otherwise they might choke to death, actually. That would not be good. That is not the point of giving it to your doggo. We have BuiltOnUSA.com. I'll be putting some of the Bovrite, actually, in the chili later. It works. Just trust me. Just fucking try it, dude. When you make your broth, you can put some Bovrite in it. You can also put probably some of Anton's meat in it if you really want to. He's got everything. Venison, Angus, Cabanassi, Wagyu, all sorts of imports. And then, of course, Stick, Sex, and Hammer mugs, tumblers, and shirts are available as well. And finally, we got jamandbean.com, JAMNbean.com. Ah, God, that smells fucking good. Yeah, you need this in the morning. We've got Clanker Blend, Costa Rica Blend, all sorts of other blends as well. Lots and lots of teas are available. There's one that's called, I believe, Pirate's Plunder. No, that's the Yunnan Jig. This is the one, when you brew this through a basic bitch coffee machine, you basically get the black tea from a Chinese restaurant, only it's more fresh, it's more flavorful, and it's more caffeinated, which is important to some of us. Where'd the pirate plunder go? Well, I can't find it right now, so I can't show it to you. Anyways, yes, jamandbean.com. You should get some coffee and some tea. Haha. Moskvich. Give your doggo shrooms, not shocks. Yeah, I know. Hassan Piker shocks his dog in the nads. I give dogs, doggy treats. And then I pet them on the little head and say, oh, you're so cute and stuff like that, I am different from a communist. Communists do not like dogs, apparently, most of the time. This actually seems like a fairly common thing that goes on. It's a little bit weird, actually. It's like, I know you probably converted to Islam anyway, but, you don't have to fuck around with the dogs. I'm assuming he fucks it in the ass. Mike here. I have never bought a product from one of your sponsors. I just waste money giving it to you, even though you make more money than me and live with your parents. Well, you've got to understand. Listen to my plea here to the general public. You have two choices. You can move out from your parental home. You will be paying rent to somebody that you do not know, that has no loyalty to you of any kind, that does not care about you in any way other than the money that you give them. Or you can spend a smaller amount, live in your familial home, with people who give a shit about you, with people who care about you, and with people who you can generally trust. Which choice is the more intelligent one? I hate it when people say, and they're basically implicating the whole nation of Italy in the process, by the way, as at least unmarried individuals. I hate it when people have a problem with others residing in their family home. Because, well, of course I want to help my fucking parents. Of course I want to help take care of the property. This is my home. I spend less money. I help my parents, who are getting older. They're still able to do their own thing, but, they can use some help sometimes. I don't see any sin in that, now do I? Some people apparently believe it's pathetic or something along those lines. I think that it's brave. I think that ignoring people's judgment is much better than the alternative. Oh, that tisane tea is good. Yeah, that's unfortunately not the pirate plunder. That's that other one. What was it? It wasn't the green tea. I can't remember which one it was. It's one of the tisane teas. Shung Marais. Fuck J.D. Vance. He's a dual Israeli citizen. A dick. We don't need custers like that in the whiskey hotel. I'm the three guys. Check your DMs, Sticks. I will after I'm done with this live stream. I've also got a bunch of other stuff to do. I've got to make chili. I've got several people that want to talk to me. God, this is going to be a busy night. I'm probably going to be awake till 2 or 3 a.m. Tenerife, exactly. Don't judge people for living with their parents. If I can save $500 or $600 a month, and at the same time the money I am paying is going to people that are around me anyway, that I actually give a damn about, how is this a terrible thing? Can I please ask that question? How is this pathetic? How is it cowardly? It's not. It's called pragmatism, which most people do not have, apparently. Rather sad. Taco Woman Sandy Ravage, AOC versus Vance 2028. That would be an easy case. Vance would crush her. After the last interview that Vance gave the other day, considering his ability to turn words and be sarcastic, AOC wouldn't last 5 fucking minutes on a debate stage with that dude. Not even close. She would lose against Trump. She'd lose against Vance. Hell, keep in mind, when she was in the Democratic primaries, she lost handily against Tulsi Gabbard. Remember, There was only one content creator who said she's on her way out before that happened. When she was rising up, a bunch of people told me, they swore up and down, she's going to be the nominee. I told them, she's not going to be the nominee. She doesn't have the qualifications. She'll probably be the VP candidate. And that indeed is exactly what happened. Tulsi Gabbard didn't even need to smack a bitch in order for that to happen, by the way. Although it helped. It just hastened her departure from the field, I suppose. Shung Manes, that's the JD Vance one. Spike, depends on the situation. If you help out and you expand your life with your parents, it's fine. If you're mooching and doing nothing, then you are a shitbag. Agreed. I have been giving my parents all of the property taxes. I have been paying them a substantial stipend, and I am not a moocher. Just to be clear, I make sure that my parents are taken care of, and I always will. So long as I live, they'll be fine. Just to be clear, no, I'm not a deadbeat. Cooking Inferno, let's be thankful for the fools, but for them, the rest of us could not succeed. Mark Twain. Huh. Never heard that quote before, actually. Mike here. I've never bought a product from... Oh, that's the sponsor. Jesus, it keeps dragging itself up to the top. Mike here. Don't get me wrong, I'm rather jealous. Don't be jealous, silly. I never said it was pathetic or cowardly. I was just commenting on giving a guy money who lives cheaper than me and makes more money. Stop crying. Not crying. Did I just see Spud Croyley's picture in there? Not exactly sure. But yes, I make sure that my parents have the property. I make sure that the property taxes are paid, along with various other concerns. I have made sure that other people are paid for. I certainly pay for my daughter. And this can be hard, but it is doable, believe it or not. All you have to do is put your mind to it. If you do not mind doing so, you should. I love my parents. I love my daughter. I love my ex-wife. I love a lot of people, so I try to make sure that they are taken care of. I am no deadbeat. Although people cast me off as one all of the time. Oh, yeah, the albatross. Retard alert! Yeah, I know. pee-pee there. The faggot, which is what he is. He can go ahead and mouth off about me all he wants. Nobody cares. I don't watch their stupid show. There's a reason for that. NDAA's anti-censorship provision protects free speech. Yes, worked into the latest NDAA. This is the National Defense Authorization Act. They put in a provision. The government is no longer going to give money to companies that are directly censoring people. That is, major ad agencies have been using these monitors, these are web monitors, including the left-wing NewsGuard, to censor and blacklist conservative news organizations. The new restriction, found in Section 1541, good year, by the way, builds on a similar prohibition made in the 2025 NDAA. Major advertising agencies have been effectively censoring conservative media by blocking ads and their revenues using left-wing media monitors. Christine, I'm going to try to pronounce this name. I cannot guarantee. Zernajewski. Jewski. Sounds like Worski. Spokesperson for the Independent Media Council told Newsmax the IMC represents more than a dozen major conservative and independent media organizations. We applaud Congress for taking a stand to oppose such censorship when it comes to military recruitment advertising. See, this is a rather limited decision. This has to do with, for some reason, left-wing groups were serving ads out preferably to people who otherwise might join the military. Now, this goes beyond that, of course. Some of it is more directly politically related. but some of it has to do with the military. Well, guys, we're paying for the military. I think it should be a rather non-biased, non-political process. I think that the dude who can carry 50 pounds is probably better than the dude that can carry 40 pounds. I think that you should probably judge based on that metric. Unfortunately, it seems that for a number of years, that was not actually the case. Cooking Inferno. Get your facts first. Then you can distort them as you please. Mark Twain. Yes, and also tell a lie as big and loud as you can. More people will believe in you. Goebbels understood this, and it worked. It is very, very easy to control people's minds. Keep in mind, there are 3 ways that the human communicates. The first is how I'm communicating with you right now. Through language, spoken word. Through, in this case, English. If you know multiple languages, that always gives you an advantage. The second is gestural. People understand where your hands are. That gives an intonation. It happens all the time. What do you think this means? Means fuck you. Depending on the culture, of course. The third is symbolic, actually. The symbolic meaning of communication is that you can see a picture or a sign or something like that, and this was the primordial one, and then you can glean a meaning from that. For example, when people were generally non-literate, when they couldn't speak, some of these people couldn't even sign their own name. How did they know how to go to the barber? Well, they saw the pole that was rotating around outside of the barber shop with the green and blue stripes. The blue and red stripes. How did they know where to get their meat? Well, that picture up there shows a beef joint or a dead pig or something like that. How did they know where to get their vegetables? Well, that sign over there shows like carrots and lettuce and shit like that. So they still knew. It was a form of communication. Humans are ingrained towards this communication. I wanted to tell all of you. Probably the most important thing you will hear in your entire life. You are lied to every single day. You are lied to by gestures, you are lied to by symbols, and you are lied to by language. Sorry, it's just the way that it is. There's nothing that you can do about it either, other than recognize that it's happening and attempt to rectify the situation, as that one particular very, very funny troll said, actually, when I was at the Spectrum Center that one time. That was very funny. Cooking Inferno. I read that one. Okay. OC Pud, thank you for your content. I always love it. I'm glad that you like it. Very good, my friend. Taco Woman, Sandy Ravage. I went to Ralph's on the Park last night for a Christmas party. Yeah! Oh, great. I had the turtle soup followed by a medium rare ribeye with parsnips. Absolutely delicious. Oh, now you're making me hungry. I know that I'm making chili tonight. That will be delicious, but it has nothing on that. Yeah, anyone who has never been to Ralph's on the Park in New Orleans, order anything that you want. It doesn't matter what you order. Everything's delicious. Highly recommended restaurant. Damn. You had parsnips and turtle soup? They're selling parsnips now? Fuck. Damn it. Get my ass back down there, apparently. Yeah, apparently I have to go back to New Orleans after all. Just to get parsnips, I guess. Raging against the machine. Man who drops phone in toilet now has crap service. Jesus. Yeah, no, their turtle, the crawfish bisque is the best thing on the menu at Ralph's on the Park, by far. I mean, it's an 11 out of 10 meal. It's the best thing that I've ever tasted in my entire goddamn life. But the turtle soup is also really, really good, and it didn't taste anything like I expected. I figured it would be like a white broth soup with, chunks of turtle meat in it. Instead, it's more like a loose chili or something like that, sort of what I'm going to be cooking tonight. I couldn't believe it, but it was delicious. I didn't know they sold parsnips, though. Use dryer sheets. Hey, Sticks, I be mad again. I'll try my best. I don't know what that refers to, but yeah, you do you. Fireman Pig 97, man who stands on toilet is high on pot. Yeah, you gotta use some marijuana. By the way, did Donald Trump actually reschedule marijuana? Like, did he actually sign? Yeah, oh shit, he actually did sign the executive order. Donald J. Trump, an old, white, supposedly conservative Republican, has reclassified marijuana. Yeah, proving that the liberals don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Okay, we're definitely docketing that. Okay, Donald Trump does not care if you smoke pot. Maybe we should roll a joint or something like that. That would be funny. Because, nobody gives a shit anymore. It's already legal in the state of Vermont if it's been officially reclassified. Does that mean I can smoke weed on a stream? Can I smoke a fucking joint? I don't know. The new classification radiosphere is level 3. So before it was a class A, which means it's a felony to even possess it on the federal level. Now it's more like, we don't really give a shit. Now it's more like, yeah, we realize we made a mistake mode. Yeah. Yeah, JJ, see, that's the problem. The government is going to tax the fuck out of it. The federal government's absolutely going to edge in on the market, which means that mostly people are just going to grow their own in states where it's legal to do so. Like here in Vermont, you can have 2 adult plants per person in the household. So if you got 3 or 4 people in the household, that's a lot more weed than a lot of people understand, as long as you take care of them. I totally never grow marijuana. I have never done that. I have never grown or smoked marijuana. I'm a pure virgin for Jesus and stuff like that. Haha. Cooking Inferno. Confession. Joseph Goebbels was a genius. He was very intelligent. Despite the evil of the regime, his mind was quite admirable. Shame Paperclip couldn't nab him before he ended himself. There is an interesting story. I have a booklet that was probably written by Goebbels. I can't remember what pseudonym he used. It was, it wasn't Midas Right. What was it? What was the name of this book? Blood and Soil, I believe. It was probably written by Joseph Goebbels, but he used a pseudonym. I can't remember the pseudonym he used. And it sounds like him. It's kind of in line with the sort of feelings that he seemed to have had. And it was released actually in the 1930s, before the Fourth Reich even rose. And yeah, he released this book, and nobody knew it was him, basically. It was rather strange. This happens all the time, by the way. Somebody releases a book or something, they do it under a pseudonym, and so, I don't know, who wrote this? It was, John Doe or something like that. Well, it wasn't John Doe, it was actually Joseph Goebbels. Spike. Apparently a warrant has been issued for the shooter at Brown University. Boston PD got involved and the case started breaking ground after a live casing was found. That's how they got to Loogie's DNA. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that they find him, of course, because justice for those who were slain. But at this point, I think that he's probably long gone. He could be in goddamn Puerto Rico right now. He could be in fucking Japan. We don't know where he is. He's crazy if he stayed around in Rhode Island. I mean, I'm hoping that he is that crazy so he gets caught. But we have no guarantee of that. Yeah, they won't say the name. Yeah, I've noticed that they're strenuously avoiding actually mentioning who is presumptively responsible for the shooting there at Brown University. Considering that they turned the security cameras off right before the incident at just the same building where the shooting occurred, one of a few things is true. Number one, it was an inside job. Something is terribly, terribly wrong. Number two, the shooter worked in security. So they could turn the cameras off themselves before they did what they did. Or number three, they worked in tech. They came to the security guards and said, look, we're going to have to shut this system down for a day or two. I've got to reboot things. It's going to take a while. We got to recompile things. Be a little bit like that scene from Jurassic Park where they clear off the table and everything else. And then my ex-girlfriend actually got terrified by that scene after that. You know, when the dude's arm comes out and then the velociraptor charges through the security gate. She practically fell over. That was a fun day. But anyway, something is wrong here. This is why I didn't talk about this when it was, early news. This is why I didn't talk about it, because I knew something has to be wrong. Because the story that they're giving us does not add up. Something is desperately, terribly wrong here. I don't know if it's an inside job or if it's complete incompetence. I'm not exactly sure what caused this to happen, but something caused it to happen. Yeah. Something happened. Oh no. Yeah, Spike. Apparently, the university turned the cameras off for the pro-Palestine protesters. Talk about number one on the list of excuses of the day. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. You wanted to protect their privacy so that they wouldn't be doxxed. Did you do that for the pro-Israel protesters, which don't exist there? Did you do it for literally any other group of people? Or did somebody go into the office and say, hey, I need to do maintenance on these machines, so these cameras will be down for a few hours. Don't worry about it too much, just take the day off. I have a feeling that it's probably number three. I have a feeling that you're going to find out weird shit about this particular case. Sertorius. This DEI assassination has been sponsored by the university. What can Brown do for you? Obstruction of justice. Yeah, this stinks to high hell. This stinks even worse than the goddamn so-called suicide that Epstein involved himself in. There's no way that anyone's going to be able to convince me that there's not something dirty going on here. It's impossible. Anyways, let's get to more news. RFK Jr. says HHS won't fund sex-rejecting procedures for minors. It is malpractice. I happen to agree with him here. As I said this morning, if you are an adult, if you choose to dress however you want, do whatever you want with your genitals, including inverting them, making them non-functional, that's okay. You're an adult. You're allowed to do these things. The government should not be involved. Healthcare professionals should be compelled to give you the aid that you believe that you need. With children, it's different. For example, an adult may make the stupid decision to sign off on a lease for a car they clearly cannot afford, or a house or something like that. To sign off on something that will bankrupt them. We do not make this illegal. We may look at them and say you're insane, because you're going to go bankrupt, but we don't prevent them from doing so. Do we allow children to do these sorts of things? No. Why? because the children are not developed enough mentally to know that what they're doing is nuts. That's the only reason. Now, some children, of course, are more advanced than others and probably can take out a loan or something like that and manage it. Hell, more than some adults can. But we have to have some sort of roadblock. We have to have some sort of cutoff point where we say, okay, you're a little bit too young to be inverting your penis or something like that. If you're 30 years old and you want to invert your penis or something like that, nobody really should give a shit about it. You want to wear a pink tutu and go to tea parties and stuff, as long as you're not perving on kids, nobody cares. At least I don't care. Some people will, for moralistic reasons. Otherwise, who cares? But if it is someone who is 10, they should not be pressured in any way on a sexual basis or a romantic basis. I agree with this even for moralistic standard relationships. Kids should also not be told, Jesus commands you to be straight, or something like that. It shouldn't be part of the curriculum. It is part of the curriculum in certain parts of the country, though. That is just as disturbing to me. I would point out that that is less disturbing than having grown men put on a tutu and read them sphincterbation books, but that is my own personal opinion. I simply believe that none of this should be happening. Just saying. Yeah, exactly, Cooking Inferno. Something is definitely rotten in the state of Rhode Island. Let me wager that Allah Akbar were the words that preceded the slaughter. Yeah, I don't think anyone will be surprised when it is revealed that that is the case. Fireman Pig, did you see November inflation reduced to 2.7? Yes, I did. I was very happy about that. And they're still trying to blame Donald Trump. It's like, what the hell do you expect him to do? He's been in there for like a year. It's going to take a little bit of time to reabsorb that inflation, just saying. P. Shivers dired. What happened to Mama JF? We didn't get an answer. I don't know. She's probably with some other dude at this point. I don't know. But I can guarantee you one thing. There's no possibility that JF killed her. No, the dude's not murderous. If anything, she just ran off, basically, probably. Maybe they had a falling out. I don't know. I don't know the backstory. I'm not going to judge either of them. I think that JF is a very intelligent, rational individual, and I can't believe they would kill somebody. That's the chances of that are exceptionally low. And Mama JF is a cutie, with a cute accent too. She's got that Quebecois accent, so to speak. And so yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on with that situation, but I can't imagine anyone killed anyone else. That seems a little bit out there. Just saying. Yeah, JF Garrett killed someone. No, he did not. Parlock, why does the EU want a war so bad? I don't know, actually, honestly. Yeah, Europe is having some fucking problems lately. You know, if Mama JF shows up, apparently she's in Quebec, which is not far from here, definitely she can take refuge here. I don't know that it would be a romantic relationship, so to speak, but I can make it mean chilly, just saying. Why are people claiming that she's dead? Did she kill herself? What the hell happened here? I mean, treat me like I'm a kindergartner and please tell me what the fuck happened. I have no clue. I'm hoping that that's not true. Inner City Pigeon Sticks, you need to watch this interview. Thanks. I'll grab it. Oh, shit. Is there any way by which I can actually grab it out? Nope, apparently not. Alright, please send me that on Twitter DM. I know that she's missing, but the thing is, just because a person has gone off the radar doesn't mean that they're dead. Sometimes they may just want no public exposure, and they decide to go off with someone else and disappear into a quiet life or something like that. But JF Garapi, no, I can't imagine that he's the kind of person who would kill someone. I don't believe that. It's more probable. I can talk to him, I suppose. Assuming he'll talk to me. But I have a sneaking suspicion that she simply went elsewhere, and their relationship ended, and so he didn't want to talk about it. I can't imagine him as the sort of person who would kill somebody. Parlock, who do you think the most evil person of all time? Pol Pot. Pol Pot is easily the most evil person of all time. There are some other runners-up. Mao killed the most people. Stalin killed the most people for ethnic and other reasons. And Albert Fish was the most insane of all time. If you look at some of the things that Albert Fish said, apparently his lawyer wouldn't even release his final letter to the court because he said, this is so filled with filth and shit, I'm just going to burn this shit. And it was probably like, hey, I want to fuck you in the ass and stuff like that. Like, apparently it was the most filthy letter ever written. I wish I could read it. But Pol Pot killed 40% of his own population through ineptitude and prosecution and execution and everything else. He killed 40% of the population of an entire country. He did this on purpose. When queried about this later on, after the Vietnamese beat the shit out of him like they did everyone else in the world other than the French, they said, well, I didn't know what was going on. I had no clue that people were being executed. They lied to me about the rice hall. I had no clue that we were executing people, which is bullshit. He killed 40% of his entire nation's population. This is well beyond Mao. This is well beyond Stalin. It's well beyond Hitler. It's well beyond any other tyrant that has ever held court anywhere else in the world at any time. 40%, almost fully half the population of Cambodia, was liquidated. And he was so brusque about it, he said, nope, we're not going to shoot him. No. We're going to use fucking picks. We're going to slam them in the head with mining picks because it's cheaper than using a bullet. He afforded so little value to human life, as commies typically do, he wasn't even willing to waste a bullet on them. Then, he took all of the city dwellers, right? And he said, well, fuck you, bourgeoisie. You're going to be working in the fields. And then he wonders why the crops fail. And then he wonders why people lied to him about the amount of material that was actually being produced, because nobody knew how to farm. Yeah, he pretty much ruined the country. Cambodia was reasonably developed. I mean, it was still third world, but by third world standards, at the very least, there was a development index. When he got through with it, look at Cambodia today. It's a shithole, basically. No offense to anyone who's from Cambodia. I realize that there are some people that have smartphones and shit there, but it got ruined. Pol Pot completely ripped the entire nation apart. To the point where when the Vietnamese attacked, because even they thought he was crazy, he lost big time. His forces fled. He was forced to cross the border, so he had to flee. I believe into Laos, if I remember correctly, along with a few loyalists, and then Vietnam occupied his country because he had killed half the population. They didn't have any manpower to actually stand against them. So they decided to invade, and I believe they were backed by the Russians. Ironically, I believe this is a weird piece of history. You're never going to believe what I'm about to say. The United States backed Pol Pot, the most murderous man in all of human history. I mean, by proportion of population, not by actual totals. We recognized his government as the legitimate government of Cambodia. Do you know why? It's because the Vietnamese attacked him, and we were still stinging from the Vietnam War. So when the Vietnamese attacked him, even though the Vietnamese had, relatively sane sort of a command structure, we sided with the Cambodians. We sided with Pol Pot, who was busy executing almost half of his population. Far more than a third. Very, very interesting now, isn't it? Believe it or not, the United States government is not beyond reproach. I'm going to go off in a little bit here. We're running up on an hour. But seriously, if you go down that rabbit hole, the Vietnamese beat the shit out of the Chinese twice. We decided to reject them and embrace the Cambodian government, which lost badly. The Vietnamese kicked the shit out of them too. Congratulations to Vietnam. The only time you lost, ironically, was against the French. This makes a lot of sense. When I look into certain aspects of history from the last 100 years, trust me, there's a lot to go through. Look at the Battle of May Island, for example, if you want to see something hysterical. The British attempted to create submarines to counter U-boats, mainly. They didn't quite succeed. But in the case of Vietnam, U.S. tries to invade them. Fucking fails. China tries to invade them. Fucking fails. China tries to invade them again. Fucking fails. They invade Cambodia. They drive Pol Pot off, and he was backed by the United States, and he ends up in exile. They overrun the entire country because he killed half the population, and again, the people that are trying to oppose the Vietnamese fail. Why is it? Can I ask a question? And this is partially for entertainment purposes. I should probably ask Rock. Why is it that the Vietnamese only ever lost one war in all of their history? How are they such effective fighters? Like, goddamn, if I had my choice, let's say the zombie apocalypse is upon us, my first choice is obviously going to be a platoon of Marines. They'll probably throw me around like a football for sport or entertainment or something like that, but they'll definitely be able to keep me from dying of zombieism. But a close second would have to be the goddamn Vietnamese. How are you such good fighters? I don't even understand. You beat the shit out of the US, out of China, out of Cambodia. You've lost literally one military engagement in your whole history. And that was to the French, which again is heavily ironic. You lost to the French. You beat the shit out of everyone else. Pretty funny. Shung Manes, day 3 of Sticks not opening my DM, waiting until the live stream ends. On the 3 guys clankers, view my content. Not better than Sticks, but check it out. Look, 3, my letter I sent 3 you, Sticks. I will have to see that. And Cooking Inferno, Cambodia is currently getting its ass beat by the Thais. It is? Are they at war with Thailand? Oh, shit, there is a border conflict there. Thailand bombs near Poi Phet Casino hub on Cambodian border. Oh, this is only in the last few hours. They're using anti-material rifles against the Thai. Oh, God, this... Jesus H. Christ. Can you give me one day without a new war? That's all I'm asking. You're using anti-material rifles against the Thai troops. Yeah. That's a great idea. The Cambodian military has begun using Chinese QBU-10 anti-material rifles against Thai forces. Military analyst War Noir published a photo of a Cambodian soldier armed with this rifle. This could be a singular incident. So keep in mind, anytime that you read the legacy media, take it with a grain of salt and delve further if you have the time to do so. Anti-material rifles, I know what those are large caliber sniper systems designed primarily to destroy material targets, not just enemy manpower. Norinco, a state-owned Chinese defense corporation, developed the weapon. It does look pretty cool, honestly. The QBU-10 has been in service since 2010 and is currently used by only a handful of countries, including China, Turkmenistan, and Cambodia. Huh. Okay, well, this is going in the docket. That's going to have to be talked about tomorrow, I suppose. Okie dokie then. Cambodia and Thailand are at war. Great one. How wonderful. More and more dead children. More and more dead children because of the ignorance of their parents. Just exactly what I wanted to read in my evening. I thank you for the news article, but it doesn't exactly make me happy. Thailand will make mincemeat of Cambodia. I mean, they killed, again, 40% of their population off only a few decades ago, so that's going to be a little bit lopsided, my friend. Thailand has an economy. Cambodia decided to piss its away. Wasn't their fault, though. It was Pol Pot's fault. The one that was backed by the U.S. government. Oops. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't believe it. Most people, for example, in the United States, they don't even know that China invaded Vietnam twice after the United States had invaded them. They beat us. They beat the shit out of us. China goes in. They said, you're not practicing the right kind of communism. And the Vietnamese say, fuck you. And they're still doing it to this day. We'll talk about that too. China decides to invade with hundreds of thousands of troops. They have a land border. They should have an advantage, right, over what the United States had. We had to land in that area using planes or using ships. And 200,000 people perished as a result of this. The Vietnamese did exactly what they did before. Said, fuck you, run a blockade. Who gives a shit? We're living on rice and lemongrass anyway. Kill yourselves. And so they defended themselves, and they fended them off. A few years later, Vietnam gets into it with Cambodia, right? And Cambodia was backed by the United States. I have no idea why the Nixon administration made this tragic mistake, probably due to egotism and pride. And the Vietnamese beat the shit out of them. And then they drive Pol Pot out and kill several 100,000 people there. Go back to Vietnam. Then China attempts to invade again. This time, they're using a shit ton of artillery and a bunch of tanks and stuff. Well, the Vietnamese didn't have much of a fucking problem with that either, did they? Nope, they basically drew them into the woods and then fucking massacred them. Another few 100,000 Chinese soldiers are defeated. They killed everyone to the last man. At this point, nobody wants to fuck with Vietnam, except that China is still doing it to this day. Believe it or not, China is crazy enough to run their large shipping vessels down into Vietnamese waters to ram trawlers and things like that. They've been doing this for years. You don't want to piss off the Vietnamese, dude. You've had this problem on multiple occasions. The U.S. has been defeated twice, both directly and then through proxy, and China has been defeated twice as well. If you want to defeat the Vietnamese, apparently the only people you can call are the French. And I don't think that China's on very good terms with them, so you might want to just leave them alone. Just saying. Yep, snakes bleed red. Pol Pot to his dying day thought he did nothing wrong. He maintained his innocence till his dying day, and there is one plausible argument behind this. Pol Pot was misled, at least in part, by the people around him, because they didn't dare to tell him what the output was from the crops that were being made. They didn't dare. Because, I mean, if you're a provincial commander or something like that, and you say, well, we only got like 90 tons of this grain that we should have 900 tons from, you'll get killed. So I can understand that he was misled, but really he created the situation in which people felt it necessary to mislead him. So he's still responsible. And the fact that the Vietnamese forced him out, good. I would love to see Vietnam. I want to get some of that lemongrass myself. Vietnam's a great country. By the way, they make great fucking ass beer. Jesus. Just saying. It's been a long time since I had beer, but yeah. Let's see. Shung Maurice. Shout out to Ario, the French, Cambodian, Jamaican guys. Juan, Sammy, and of course, the Shung Nuts. Cooking Inferno. Don't discount the facts that Thailand is the most stable country in that region. You are correct. The Philippines, I believe, are a close second. And that they were very close with the United States and the UK. Yeah, I really, really like Southeast Asia and Southeast Asian people. The Thai, the Koreans, I mean, that's not Southeast Asia, but close enough. Japan, the Philippines, Vietnam, all of these countries, highly respectable cultures. So when you go to these cultures, there will be a bit of authoritarianism. But that's simply because they want their own ways to be respected. Their own culture. Their own decorum. That's fine. You know, it's better than the alternative, which is a bunch of people throwing TVs through windows and stuff like that. I think that the Asians might do it a little bit better. Just saying. You're not going to see that shit in Japan. Somebody will fucking karate kick you in the ass. Parlock. Oh, I already answered that question. Motoman. In the depth, is the death of, Charlie Kirk, to divide left and right to send a message to the political class, or silence the masses? If either of these is true, the mission was accomplished. No. I think it was a madman that shot him, actually. I don't think that there was any necessary political motive behind leftism. Basically, a leftoid decided to kill a right-wing content creator. That's pretty much what happened. It could have been prevented. It was not. Why is everyone talking about my height? I've already given it to you. I am 6'2". Believe it or not. Yeah, the cops that arrested me, they're not shorties or anything like that. They're just shorter than me. Oh, now people are talking about candy corn diarrhea. Jesus. I'm gonna have to mute y'all. The best day ever 3 sent $5. No comment, thank you. Luke Stewart, 6155. Good day. Called the end of your live stream. Just wanted to see what your reaction was to the decriminalization of marijuana. My reaction will be to smoke marijuana. Believe it or not, your own special sticks has totally not used drugs recently. Mainly, I'm going to be making chili tonight. I'm not big into weed or anything like that. Don't worry, I don't get completely roasty toasty or anything like that. But I may have used it, you know. Just saying. Yes, Mike here. It was reclassified. So at the federal level, marijuana is no longer a federal charge. Before, it was like if you had a couple of buds, you could get a Class A felony as a result of owning them. Now it's more like, nobody gives a shit. This is basically the way that it's been in New England for quite some time. It's like it's still technically illegal in New Hampshire. Nobody gives a fucking shit. Just don't be an asshole about it. Smoke it in your car. Without driving, preferably. Or smoke it in your house. Or, in the park or something like that. Smoke it out of it. Don't do it around the kids or something like that. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. It's absolutely hysterical, actually. Mean Green Extra Mean. We get a lot more Viet Cong than they got us. Yes, the Viet Cong did suffer hilarious amounts of attrition from the U.S. troops. You are correct about that. I think it was a 3-1 or thereabouts. Yeah, the U.S. troops did a great job when they weren't being held back by fucking politicians. As long as the politicians got out of the way, our troops are fucking crazy. You send in a couple of platoons of Marines with all the toys that make the noise. Maybe some A-10 air cover or something like that. What do you fucking think is going to happen to the enemy? Oh, shit, we killed way too many people to bury. Well, that fucking sucks dick. That's basically what happened in the Vietnam War, but we got ground down for 2 reasons. Number 1, legalese. The politicians held the fucking troops back. Number 2, the enemy was capable of entrenching much more easily than originally estimated. Those tunnel networks were almost inaccessible to the average US soldier. These are roided up dudes with huge muscles and stuff. The Vietnamese opposition, they're like 100 fucking pounds. Which one is more capable of wiggling their way through a tunnel? Probably the latter. And so the entrenchments did some damage. Also, there were bungee pits everywhere and bouncing betties and everything else under the sun. So our troops never stood a chance because they were being held back. If they had just saturated the whole area, not just with napalm and Agent Orange, but with other things, we probably would have stood a fighting chance. But they weren't allowed to do so. My dad went into a couple of those tunnels. It's amazing that he survived long enough to create me. It's incredible, actually. But yeah, the whole logistics made no fucking sense. Hold back the troops through politics, while not giving them the proper equipment either. And some of them, they were using like old World War II tanks and shit like that. It made no sense. They were doing this in Korea too, by the way. In Korea, the reason that we were only able to draw to a stalemate, originally, the Soviets had created their, I believe it's called the T-45. Correct me if I'm wrong. They had created a tank that was basically the precursor to the M1 Abrams. So their tank kicked ass. We were still using the Sherman and the Patton and other vehicles like that from World War II. How lovely. Yeah, when it takes a shell from a tank with a considerably larger barrel load, nothing bad's gonna happen about this. The Koreans beat the shit out of us. Something like 55,000 US soldiers died in the first few months. And there was nothing that we could do about it. We had to develop new technology, but nobody had bothered to do that. They just launched off into another war immediately without bothering to develop new technology. Navally, we were supreme. That was fine. But on land, that worked really well. We got the shit beat out of us by North Korea, actually. It's funny, actually, when you think about it, because technically our technology, the Sherman tank is one of the most iconic tanks. The problem, the Sherman tends to launch its barrage in an arc. It doesn't go straight like modern tanks tend to do. So it bounces off the enemy tank. What the hell are you supposed to do against it? It'll just bounce off and explode off in the trees or something like that. It makes absolutely no sense. Yeah, I love that snake spoon. Did your parents have any children that lived? That reminds me of the Turd Man prank call, actually, that they did with Duncan's construction. Frank Garrett calls in, and he says, you know, your parents had 2 children, one that lived and one that died. And the turd lived and the child died. And that's you, turd. Something to that effect. That was pretty funny. Anyway, yeah. Shung Manes. Yes, Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro were among the ones who red-pilled me. Charlie Kirk has stupid ideas, married a Mossad agent, and put the funny... Oh, you fuck, you know, his wife. Just saying. Funny hat and kissed the wall. Ben was born with the funny hat. I am not a Ben Shapiro fan. I do like Erica Kirk, though. She's highly attractive. Just saying. Would. Just saying. Anyways, yeah. RFK Jr. has decided we're not going to be paying any more money to invert people's penises before they are 18 years old. I look at this as a fairly reasonable suggestion. Apparently, liberals believe it to be unreasonable. I have absolutely no clue why. I'm trying to figure it out. Maybe somebody else can tell me, but... yeah. Bystander syndrome. Now that the EU stopped buying our bonds, the Fed is buying up our own bonds. This will cause inflation, by the way. And monetizing the debt. How long till products shrink to the size of small carrot meal in Zootopia due to hyperinflation? This will be a problem if the U.S. government has turned totally insular, and I'll have to look more into it to determine that. That would be a problem. Yeah. You'll give me the kiss of truth. Anyways, I'm going to go offline now, and I will be back tomorrow with more news, my friend. Because it's fun as fuck. Oh, Tacoman Sandy Ravage. Did you see the story about the FBI thwarting a Trantifa terror attack on NYE in Los Angeles against ICE? The ringleader is from Lafayette, Louisiana. A terror attack in New York made in New Orleans. Who could have possibly guessed this? Yes, indeed. Happens all the time. No, I didn't see that story, but I will look it up. Can you please DM me the article on Twitter? That would be very much wished for. Yeah, apparently a lot of people are looking forward to the Obsession stream. Yeah, well, that's okay. Yes. I need to get the exact details. And unfortunately, this archive doesn't seem to be actually working at all. Oh, we're going to try it again. We'll try to force it through. Sometimes archive.ph does not work with contemporary sites. Occasionally, it bounces them. And this is that Trump article. That will go in the live stream too, which will be wonderful. We've got the marijuana reclassification. That one is archiving. This one is already archived. That's about the Secret Service. Nobody cares about that. I'll probably cover it tomorrow. But the problem is I have to have at least 4 articles in the morning in order to make my main videos. Then, I prefer to have at least 3 or 4 for the live stream, actually. If I can't have those, then I have to do the Bant stream. It will be fine. Everything will be fine. Believe it or not. Where's that other article? Let me try to look this up. Oh. Okay. I'm going to try to look that up. Thank you for that. That is important. Much more important than you know. Okay. Anyways, I'm going to go offline because I've got to go and make some chili. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, you have no idea. I'm going to relax for a couple of minutes, and then I'm gonna be cooking. Yeah, baby! Once those tomatoes get cut up, and the rest is history, basically. You have to make sure that the onions are cooked first, and then you put the celery in a little bit later. The tomatoes go in third. Obviously, you have butter or something else, some oil, at the same time. Meanwhile, hopefully you've already created your sauce. This is made with diced tomatoes, halve tomatoes, which are fresh, as well as a bouillon. In my case, I'm going to be using Bovrite, actually. Once these are all mixed together, along with some coffee and some herbs, there's nothing else to it. They will stanch out the cooking process, and they will begin to boil. Once the other herbs are added, all you have to do is reduce the heat. Then you simply reduce it down and you cook it the rest of the way. Of course, the meat has to be done beforehand. That's all you have to do. Shung Mares, I sent you another DM, Sticks. Check that ho. That's about all. Peace out. Well, I'll have to check it out. Anyways, I'm going to go offline and make some chili. I will be back tomorrow to make some more delicious food and another live stream. That's about all. Peace out.